Oh, and I do love how this game uses fonts. You're going to see a lot of this. Uses this cursive-ish handwritten font, and then this more printerly, like typewriter-esque font for the actual content. But you probably saw at the menu at the beginning that it alternated fonts for different like options, which is I fear that it's maybe not the most helpful for like dyslexic people, but I really wouldn't know anything about that all too much. I just know that sometimes it can be really tricky. That being said, as an artistic decision, I really love it. And I also adore this. The little flourish around the outside of these. The glass, broken glass is a bit of a symbol piece in this game. You see it a lot. And the ink scratches. Oh, there's so much style. This game's art style is amazing, and I absolutely adore it. It's this, I gotta say, it is probably one of my favorite looking games of all time. Hell, if not the favorite looking game, there are some contenders out there. But it's such a welcome departure from the hyper-realistic, like, ultimate face render stuff. I mean, there's a place for that. I like the RE engine, but having an actual art style and characters having, like, lines on their face that you can make out and recognize. Oh, I just wish so much more people in the game industry did that. As far as I can tell, it's really only Dishonored and a few others. At least, like, AAA stuff. This game's by Bethesda. Arcane Studios, same guys that made the first one. Okay, Empress, we face yet another murder, and I cannot remain silent on this matter. Strange, is it not, that all the victims have openly opposed you? If not strange, then oh so very convenient. Is there anything you wish to tell me, Majesty? How can I be an advisor if you don't include me in these most sensitive endeavors? I feel I must be the only person in Dunwall who doesn't know the truth about the Crown Killer. Don't leave me out in the cold. The Crown Killer, as you heard before, somebody is murdering political... Oh, that ambient scream. The coup is going down, and it's pretty rough out there. Somebody is murdering the political opponents of Empress Emily Caldwin's current reign, and that looks very bad for her. Ship launch protocol. Empress, after the Royal Protector's shakedown cruise, will launch the ISS Jessamine Caldwin. That's basically it. Yes. There's a lot more. Maybe this is because of the Void engine, but there's a lot more stuff to touch in the environment now. And it's not just like you pick it up, it's interactable, like this typewriter. It's kind of fun.
I used to hide frogs in this old grandfather clock to drive the housekeepers mad. I thought life was complicated back then.
For stuff like the grandfather clock, and I think you can also find like a timer later on, they are actually parts of the environment that you can use to distract enemies. They make noise after a set delay, after you set them, which is pretty fun. Here's the Dunwall skyline. Gotta love that old Dunwall color palette. Bluish and gray.
Delilah is some sort of witch. How is this possible?
Emily, you're... Where's the Royal Protector?
There's a coup underway. My father is... he's imprisoned, for lack of a better word.
You've got to get out of the tower. Through your safe room. There was a captain earlier today, down at the docks, looking for the Royal Protector. Find her. Get out of Dunwall.
Alexei, I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Audience request. Captain Mayhew, you don't know me, but you've got to tell the Royal Protector that I have urgent need of his time. I'm carrying a message that has to be delivered face to face. Tell him I'm working with Anton Sokolov, an old friend. All the boats are being sent away from the docks, but I'll delay as long as I can. Tell Lord Corvo to find me there. My ship is called the Dreadful Whale. Megan Foster. So that's a way out.
This won't open without my ring. Ramsey has it.
like I mentioned before, lots of more stuff to touch in the environment. These are all openable, closable. Oh, and when you pick up things, they're held in your right hand now. They used to be held in the center of the screen, so you couldn't use your powers or left-handed guns. Now, they're held on the right side of the screen, and you can do whatever you wish with your left hand. Yep. I like it. Very convenient. Collect some money. Oh, audiograph.
Emily, I know times are hard. You're the ruler of 4 nations, and I won't pretend to understand the pressure you're under. Only you and your mother before you could know what that's like. Whoever's killing off your enemies is doing so for calculated effect, undermining us. And I do know what it's like to be blamed for murders you didn't commit. But trust me, we'll find this crown killer, and they'll pay. Tomorrow is the anniversary of her death. A sad day for sure. But I want you to remember all that's happened over the last 15 years. You've held on to the throne, and you've done what you thought was right for the people of the Empire. You drained the flooded district, kept the gangs in check, and yesterday we launched a magnificent ship bearing Jessamine's name. You're becoming the sovereign your mother wanted you to be, and I'm proud of you.
Oh, one more thing. I really want to demonstrate this element to the sword play that they introduced in this game. That is a incredibly welcome addition, and that is the focus strike. If you hold down the sword button, you can charge up a strike, and when it connects, it automatically staggers an enemy, and I think it goes through most blocks. It is very useful because usually when you stagger an enemy, that puts them into a state where you can attack them. You can go for like the counterattack kill, because it's the same effect as when you perfectly parry something. In this game, if you use it on an enemy and they're staggered by it, you can go into the combat chokehold that I showed you all in the tutorial. That being said, let's go for... I'll read the tutorial. So, same stuff as before. Chokehold or stab. And there is a chaos system in this game, of course.
Kind of dry.
There we go. And I'll carry you away.
Really go for a whiskey or something. Maybe one of them 2-penny drinks.
There we go. You're Emily now. See ya. I should point out the sensitivity when I started up this game. Sensitivity and another feature, the head bob, was way too low and way too high. I had to really turn up the sensitivity in order to make it feel right on the mouse, and I had to really turn down the head bob. While I appreciate a good amount of head bob in games, it feels very kinetic and flowy. This game starts you off with way too much. I went into the settings and lowered it to quite low. But, oh, the animations in this game are excellent. They were good in Dishonored 1, don't get me wrong, but with the refined look of this game, they are incredible.
Can't even breathe no more.
And time to show off a kill animation for you guys. Yeah, still as brutally efficient as ever. Emily inherits the being very good at killing people in very cool ways gene from Corvo Attano. That being said, you can now sprint while carrying bodies. Very welcome addition. I love it. And you can still climb as well, I believe. I don't think you could do that in Dishonored 1, but you can climb when carrying dead bodies now. Very welcome addition. There's a lot more... Did I just break? There's lots more modularity. Is that the right word? You can do a lot of things from a lot of different positions that you couldn't in the first game. Here's the Empire. Alright, let's go after Captain Ramsey.
With the throne room blocked off, we should have the time we need. Just stay here and stall anyone who comes by. I'll be back when I've searched the royal chambers, assuming I don't accidentally lock myself in this damn safe room.
We'll cover for you if anyone from the Duke's party returns. This is exciting. Everything's changing.
Yes, the natural order is reasserting itself. The Ramseys once hosted the king and queen of Morley, did you?
I completely failed. That was entirely embarrassing. I'm gonna go over again.
Time we need. Just stay here and stall anyone who comes by. I'll be back when I've searched.
Found us again, Mother.
Then lock myself in this damn safe room.
We'll cover for you if anyone from the Duke's party returns. This is exciting. Everything's changing.
Yes, the natural order is reasserting itself. The Ramseys once hosted the king and queen of Morley, did you know that? I spent my childhood playing with the Buntings and the Boyles, cream of society.
And very soon you'll be back at the top, Captain.
Ramsey's family fell from the aristocracy, and apparently the man holds a grudge. How it's my fault, that's beyond me. But one way or another, Ramsey is too dangerous to be left in play.
Then she'll leave him.
It's not my
Ooh,
job to
so you'll notice that Ramsey kind of suddenly stopped there. Now's a good time to bring up another interesting thing that changed between Dishonored 1 and Dishonored 2's gameplay. Enemies have a lot more reactions to the environment than usual. He noticed that the door was open when it's normally closed. And enemies will sometimes investigate to see who opened certain doors if it's part of their patrol route. It can be a little bit more difficult since they're smarter now, but I quite like the change. It feels more engaged. We just follow Ramsey around here. As for lethal and non-lethal eliminations, this game still has them, and I gotta say some non-lethal eliminations are absolutely wondrous. I adore them. But it also has some pretty great kill animations, and some non-lethal animations are not nearly as good.
Ah, clever. Maybe designed by Sokolov. Emily's ring, the seal of the Empress.
Look at him, he's so smart.
All
I
this
spent
wealth,
so many nights in here after the rat plague.
foreigner.
Right. Nice
The
place.
girl, oh sorry, Her Imperial Majesty had not ignored me at the butler's change of command ceremony. If she'd bothered to keep her appointments, I might have finally restored the family to its proper station. My idiot father notwithstanding.
All right. Hey. Choke down.
This won't leave my hand again.
So, the non-lethal option for this quest? Lock Mortimer Ramsey in the safe room. He'll basically be in here forever because this safe room's a hidden location and I have the only key. That being said, I don't want to continue with the mission yet. I'm gonna head back and show you more of the throne room. Let's see. Yep. Alright, time to show off. A very welcome feature that I like in this game. Let's see if I can get it to work. Come on, a little closer.
Getting so one can't even breathe no more.
Ah, I'll show you later. special animations for choking out sitting enemies, which I really adore. You take them out of their sitting position before you choke them.
Huh? Where did you disappear to?
Oh.
They're going to pay for this. I need to get away from
And
here.
I can throw from this position, sprint on over to him, and kick him to knock him unconscious. It is wonderful. You can now play combat non-lethally. It is an incredible addition to this whole system. Ugh.
Her reign is off to a grand start. Killed for their loyalty to me. Damn the Duke of Serkonos. Damn Delilah.
And here's Corvo.
Father, I don't know how, but I'll make this right. I promise.
Here's something that I'm now going to mention. If you choose to play as Corvo at the beginning there, Emily is the one that gets frozen in stone. And Corvo is the one that's locked in the room. So, basically, having two playable characters means you choose one character at the start of the game and play through the entire rest of the game as them. It's odd, isn't it? Normally, if you have two playable characters, you should be able to alternate between them through certain missions of the story, right? But in this game, it's more of like, there's two different playthroughs, and one of them has, you know, a different voice actor, and the character offers slightly different dialogue, but Corvo has the same powers as last game. They added some tweaks to them. They're interesting, but it's such an odd choice in my opinion, especially since the cover of the game, or I'll put it on screen, shows Emily and Corvo together. It makes it seem like you're going to be able to play as both of them, right? It's odd. But just so you know, I'm playing as Emily for the rest of the game. Corvo's gone, like, from a player character perspective right now. It's so odd. And it seems like it's pretty obvious that you're supposed to play as Emily as the canon way, because why would Delilah even keep Corvo alive and freeze Emily in stone? I mean, freezing people in stone is like a new power for Delilah. Don't remember her having that in the DLC, but I mean, it makes sense because she offers an explanation as to why she's keeping Emily alive. She goes, "You'll come to love me. You're my niece. I'm related to you by blood, and I think you should hear me out." Corvo? Why would she even bother keeping Corvo alive? Also, did you notice in the last cutscene she took away his outsider's mark? That's kind of weird. When you play as Corvo, you don't have it here at the beginning of mission. That's a new power. I don't know why the outsider would give the ability to take away outsiders' marks to other people, but we'll get to it. I mean, there's a lot to discuss.
Anton Sokolov made this lock. Now you've got what you wanted, Ramsey. The Imperial Suite atop Dunwall Tower. Stay put until this is all set straight, Ramsey. Enjoy the rations and well water, sleeping next to a fortune.
I really hate to front-load the game with complaints, but I think that some of the decisions, especially ones that are found at the beginning of the game, are really odd. And it's something that is a rough start, but the continuing on from here, a really great part of the game opens up. That being said, I'm going to explore this room. Here are Emily's old drawings from the first game. Samuel Beathworth's carving.
Old Samuel made this. I'm glad he didn't live to see me driven out of Dunwall Tower.
Yeah, Samuel from the first game has died of old age, canonically. Up there is an old audiograph. It's the same audiograph that plays in the hidden room of Dunwall Tower in the first game.
The reserves won't help against Delilah, even if I had a way to carry it all out of here.
It's a nice big block of gold.
This could be handy.
I'll have to take an ingot for now. I'm noticing my commentary will have to... I'm noticing that my commentary will have to change because the player character talks now. I have to avoid talking over her. What's this? Oh, Whispers from the Void. Common story. Person has stopped breathing, pinned under carriage wheels. But when the weight is removed, they make a quick recovery. For a moment or two, the person was lost to us. And what did they experience while in this temporary death? Darkness? Nothingness? No. They tell us, as so many before have, that they were in a particular place and can describe it vividly. The realm where nothing makes sense, where one is at once both lost and at home. The void. And there's a little bit more. In my interviews, I've gleaned that there is not a single citizen without such visions at one time or another. What treasures await us there? Are the lakes made of liquid diamond, the clouds of weightless silver gas? And what things would we learn? Lots of more world building and lore books in this game. I quite like it, although I definitely won't be able to read all of them in this playthrough, as much as I'd like to. Bone charms. We all know about those. Crown Killer strikes again. The Empress for what called her slipshod style of governance and her willful neglect of duties. Authorities are convinced the Crown Killer is the culprit, given the gruesome details left at the crime scene. Yes, someone... Boyle. I guess a relative of the Boyle family was murdered recently by the Crown Killer.
The Crown Killer must be connected to all this, with the Duke and Delilah.
And one last thing I'll say. You'll notice in the dialogue at the beginning of the game, and the more I read, and this is not some kind of spoiler, it's pretty upfront about it. Emily Kaldwin, as an Empress, was not a great Empress. I'm going to establish here that the game kind of hammers that home, with all kinds of lore and character dialogue. Emily did not do a great job governing the Isles. Her mom was a lot better at this sort of thing, but you know, Emily, I mean, it's a monarchy. She's just a kid who was thrust into this at the age of, what, 10? As much as she has guidance from Corvo, it's not really going to help if someone's just not cut out for government. Alright.
I have a feeling I'll need these.
Pistol and spyglass. This spyglass replaces Corvo's mask. If you play as Corvo, then he picks up his mask from here, and he uses the spyglass in his lenses. Oh, I love that sound effect. Sound design in this game is also absolutely wonderful. Whew! Oh, and it came with a pistol. I'm not sure why, but Emily's pistol and Corvo's pistol, depending on who you play as, look different. I'll try and get a good catch of the lighting on this pistol here, but hers is kind of like techno-y looking. There's a rotating fan on it for whatever reason. Oh, but it's nice that you always draw it with a spin. That's fun. Corvo's looks like the pistols from the first game. And look, it looks like that. That's what the regular pistol looks like. As for Emily, she's the only character in the game that has her own pistol. It's kind of odd. Yep. See ya, Ramsey.
Goodbye, you entitled bastard. This won't leave my hand again.